Hello and welcome to Python tutorial 17 on tuples. Now a tuple is a sequence of items. Tuples are sequence data types like lists and ranges. A tuple may have items of different data types or the same data type, but typically tuples have items of different data types like numbers, strings, lists and other tuples. Tuples support indexing. This means that we can get any item from a tuple. Tuples also support slicing. This means that we can get any continuous section of a tuple. Tuples support unpacking. This means that we can assign multiple variables all at once from a tuple. The important thing is that tuples are immutable. This means that once a tuple is defined, no item of a tuple can be updated. A tuple may have a nested tuple as an item in it. Now let us see the format of a tuple. A tuple is items separated by commas. So we have item 0, that means item with index 0, item 1, item 2 and so on. Also, a tuple can also be defined as a comma separated values within parentheses. Now let us see tuples in action in Python. So let us say I want to create a tuple T1 and it has items 1, high, 2 and 3. So that creates the tuple. Now if we type the name of the tuple, it echoes the tuple within parentheses. Tuples support indexing. So this means that if we type T1 0, it gives us the very first item of the tuple. Similarly, if we give T1 1, Python echoes the second item of the tuple. Now slicing. So if we want a slice of the tuple, we can use the colon, say 1 colon. This means all items in the tuple from index 1 to the end of the tuple. So this is high, 2 and 3. Similarly, we can have another slice. 1 colon 3 means all items from index 1 up to but excluding 3. So we'll get items with index 1 and index 2. Now let us see unpacking. So we can have A, B, C, D is equal to T1. So we can assign multiple variables together from the tuple. So each item of the tuple is assigned to a separate variable. So if we see A, it will be the first item, B will be the second item, C will be the third item and D will be the fourth item from the tuple. Now as I mentioned, tuples are immutable, so we cannot change any item of the tuple. So if we try to assign some other value to an item of the tuple, this will result in an error. So it says object does not support item assignment. Now let us define another tuple, say T2, and here I'm going to have the first item with index 0 as 1, and then as the second item I'll put another tuple. So this is perfectly valid, and we can echo T2 and we can see it has two items. The first item is 1 and the second item is a tuple with two items 2 and 3. Now let us see tuple operations and functions. Tuples support the in, not in and plus operation. In returns true if the item is in the tuple, else it returns false. Not in returns true if the item is not in the tuple. Plus concatenates two tuples. The len function returns the number of items in the tuple. If possible, min returns the smallest item in the tuple. Also, if possible, max returns the largest item in the tuple. If we give tuple.index of x, it returns the first occurrence of x in the tuple. If we give some tuple.count of x, it counts the total occurrences of x in the tuple. There is a useful tuple function. It converts a sequence into a tuple. So it returns a tuple made from the sequence. Now let us see examples of these in Python. Now let me redefine the tuple t1. So t1 is a new tuple now. Let us see the in operation. If I write 1 in t1, it says true because 1 is an item of t1. If we write 100 not in t1, this will also return true. Now we can add more items to t1. So t1 is equal to t1 plus, I want to add couple of items to it. So this concatenates the two tuples and assign it back to t1. So now t1 has 5 items in it. So if we see len of t1, it returns 5. We can use the main function min of t1. It returns the smallest item, which is 1. Max of t1 returns the largest item, which is 5. Now we have the t2 tuple. Now it has some numbers and some tuples as its items. So obviously min and max cannot operate on it. So if we try to echo the max of t2, this gives us an error. It says that not all items in the tuple are integers. That is why it cannot order them. So max and min will not work on t2. Now let me create another tuple. I'll call it t3 and have many items in it. Few ones, couple of 2s, 3s and 4. So it has lots of items in it. Let us see the len of t3. It's 8 items. Now let us use the index function. So t3 dot index 2. This means that return the first occurrence of 2 in the tuple. So here we have index 0, index 1, index 2 and index 3. So this should give us 3. Now let us count the items in t3. So t3 dot count. I want to count how many times 4 is in this tuple. So it is 2 times. Now let us see the tuple function. Let us say greet is equal to, I want to create a tuple from the string hello. So tuple function converts it, and each character of the string hello becomes one item in the greet tuple. So let us echo greet and we can see that there. If you remember the range function, so let us say we want to give a range from 90 up to but excluding 100. So this is the range. We can convert the range into a tuple. So I'm going to create a tuple points is equal to tuple of range of 90, 100. So this will convert all the numbers from 90 up to but excluding 100. So we can echo points and we can see that here. So that's it for tuples. Thank you for watching this tutorial and see you in the next tutorial.